Good afternoon to all members sitting over here, members who are connected with us via online mode. We have today we have with us our Central Council member, CA Dr. Ransomware Attacks from Mumbai. I think we should have a huge round of applause for taking a time from busy schedule and coming to Surat. Sir, thank you very much from Surat branch of ICAI. We have today with us our distinguished speaker, Sri Ajit Shah sir. He is also come from Mumbai. And we have two other huge round of applause for our today's speaker, Sri Ajit Shah sir. We have two other faculties also. Sri Ganesh Shetty ji, he will be delivering on the labor consultancy, and CA Bhinang Tejani will be delivering on the do's and don'ts of cyber security. So, theme of our today's seminar is Techs to Tech. I think that means that CAs are from everywhere. Either we can say from techs, we have chartered accountants are there. When we say technology, CAs are there. That means that from A to Z, in each and every aspect of the economy, our chartered accountants are there. So with this, I invite our today's guest of speaker and our Central Council member, Sri Rajkumar Adukia sir, and to receive with him, Sri Ajit Shah sir, and to escort him, I would like to request our chairman, Surat Branch, Nikesh Kothari, Regional Council member, Ishwar Jivani, Ashwin Bawala, treasurer on the dais. Members, please have a huge round of applause. Sir, Ganesh sir, I think sir was sitting or yes, sorry. Ganesh Shetty sir is delivering on the labor law consultancy. Thank you. Now I request everyone to stand up for ICAI motto song.
Yaeshasupeshu jagrati Yaeshasupeshu jagrati Kamam 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 kamosho Nirvimana Tadeva shukram Tadagama Tadeva Tasmin lokaha shataha Sarve tanuna charitasya nanyaditasya Etat vaita
Thank you, members. Now, I would like to request Chairman Surat Branch, CA Nikesh Kothari, to welcome the gathering.
Thank you very much, Dushyant. Good evening, every members. Today's our speaker, Central Council member, CA Dr. Rajkumar Adukia sir. Our another speaker, CA Ajit Shah sir. Our another speaker, Ganesh ji, and dignitaries on the dais and off the dais, and members. I heartily welcome you on this seminar. And one thing to share with you, that Surat branch has one theme for this year, that united we can. So unity is the power of any society, and that thing is applicable to our CA fraternity also. So united we can. Can means C stands for creativity, A stands for achieving, and N for nurturing. So following this theme, we organize so many programs throughout the year and series of programs for the year on different topics on various subjects, emerging areas, new opportunities. And as a part of this, we organize today's seminar. So hope you will enjoy this seminar and learn a lot from our eminent speakers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairman sir. Now we would like to welcome and felicitate our today's speakers and Central Council member C. Rajkumar Adukia sir with a bouquet and memento, and request RCM sir Iswar Jivani and branch chairman C. Nikesh Kothari to felicitate Rajkumar sir. Members, please. Thank you. Now, I would like to request Treasurer of Surat Branch, C. Ashwin Bhawala, to welcome our today's speaker, Sri Ganesh Shetty sir, with a memento and bouquet. Thank you. Moving ahead, I would like to request Managing Committee member C.S. Lakhanikya to welcome our today's guest of speaker, Sri Ajit Shah sir, with a bouquet and memento. Thank you very much, sir. Now, I would like to request original council member C. Iswar Jivani for words of wisdom.
Thank you, Dushan bhai. Respected CCM, Sri Dr. Rajkumar Adukia ji, Sri Ganesh Shetty ji, our speakers today, Sri Ajit Shah ji will guide us on the import-export opportunities. Then CA Vinam Tijani in absentia, our respected chairperson Nikesh Kothari ji, Secretary Dushan, Treasurer Ashwin Bhawala ji, and Arun Narang in absentia, and managing committee members and my dear members. Very good afternoon to all of you. Friends, today is the world of disruption. The topic is being selected very wisely, that is text to tech. Up till now we are only practicing in text matters. Now the time has come to evolve and to start practicing in technology also, because you will nowadays heard everywhere startup technologies and all. So if we do not evolve with the time, we'll be out of the thing. So we need to guide other members also कि भाई नई कुछ चीजें अपने प्रैक्टिस करें, जो ओल्ड जनरेशन में जो था, तो काफी लोग हैं यहाँ हमारे मेंबर्स, तो वो जानते होंगे कि पहले क्या प्रैक्टिस हुआ करती है, अभी क्या हुआ करती है. So we need to evolve properly. Certain changes at Central Council also I would request, as CCM sir is there. There are 2 to 3 things which I would like sir to take up at ICAI level Central Council also. First is some issues are there wherein we are facing in day-to-day life. For example, startups. So if you want to charge startup, we will be charging fees in terms of percentage only, because they will give you stake only 1%, 2%. There they don't have money to pay. So if we do not make any changes in ethics, then we'll be out from the startup fund. Second is broker house. We cannot, as a ICAI is restricting us to start the brokerage house. The new age is involved in equity market, so I request her to take up this issue that the members can take up the brokerage house also. At WRC level, I am heading two committees. One is startup as vice chairman, and second is cooperative, where I am heading as chairman. So, if you are having any issues and you want to, develop your skill into these cooperatives and startups, let me know. I'll help you out. With this, I end. Thank you.
Thank you, Ishwar Bhai, for your words of wisdom. Now, without wasting much of the time and starting our today's session, I would like to request CA Manthan Chawat to give brief introduction of our today's first guest of speaker, CA Dr. Rajkumar Adukia, sir.
Good afternoon, all present here. I've been interested with the task to introduce today's guest speaker, CCM Shri Rajkumar Adukia, sir. It is very tough to introduce sir in very few lines, because sir has requested only 2 lines. Sir has spent around more than 4 decades, 40 years of experience. He has authored more than 300 books. Sir has spoken to forums to more than 100 countries. Sir has also authored so many books on IFRS, forensics. He has also covered so many courses, like 200, 300 courses. Sir has also been very pivot in ICAI, as he has already served as a Central Council member for several terms. So with this only, sir, I'll please request, sir, please come share your such a great knowledge with all our members. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Manthan, for the nice words. Dynamic chairman of Surat branch, Nikesh Kothari, other office bearers, members of managing committee, and dear colleagues. The topic for our discussion is how to excel in non-traditional and global areas of practice. See, any area of practice to excel, first we should know what is that area. Like when we have selected, I take some ordinary examples. When we have selected to do CA, perhaps we may have evaluated other courses available, company secretary, CMA, medical, engineering. So we saw that CA contains this syllabus and perhaps it suits us. So I have made a list which is available, say about 20 global areas of practice, like valuation, forensic, due diligence, insolvency, arbitration. So there is no particular law. And when we talk about global areas of practice in all 192 countries, we can deliver that practice maybe sitting in Surat, or if required, one can travel. And then within our city, within our state, say Gujarat, if we take the whole state, or within our country, we can practice in many non-traditional areas. Now, what I mean by non-traditional is, traditional I consider 4 areas: accounting, auditing, direct taxes, and indirect taxes. So these are the areas where each one of us may render a service, or service providers are many. So it is overcrowded. When we go to a market, if there are many sellers, then buyer will pay a very reasonable price or minimum price. But if we go to a market where there is one seller or very few sellers, then buyer will not have much options to determine the terms on price. So excelling in non-traditional areas, I would like to take some questions if somebody want to tell me, okay, I want to practice in this area. Before this program, yes, do you want to say, someone want to say any 2-3 names in the non-traditional areas? Any volunteers to tell the names? Cyber security. We have 3 other sessions on cyber security, labor, and export consultancy. Now, let us take cyber security as an area of, and cyber security is a global. Cyber security is one subset, but in the domain cyber, it is the whole world. And if you have heard, there is a new term which is called metaverse. So the word, so what is cyber domain? Cyber domain means anything connected with information technology. Another terminology which we use is the digital world. So that will include, say, setting up a e-commerce platform. Somebody, for any product seller or service seller, how we can have an online platform where the customers buys online and the seller is able to advertise the product or service online. So that is one area in the field of cyber. Another area in the field of cyber is evaluating a particular application, whether it contains all the control or not. Third is, there is a legislation called Information Technology Act 2000. Under that legislation, there are many requirements for each organization to have a privacy policy. There are many offenses mentioned there, more than 20 plus offenses. So if somebody has violated your organization data privacy or our clients data privacy, then what action can be taken? Can somebody tell me a bill which is pending in parliament in the cyber space? There is a bill which was introduced in 2019. We are now in 2022, called Personal Data Protection Bill 2019. And there was a report before the bill is introduced. There is a report of the committee. Then there was another committee on non-personal data protection. What is personal data protection? It is pertaining to a living person. So age, gender, liking of that person, date of birth, these are the personal data. Non-personal data pertains to other than living person. So the entity's name, the entity's how many employees are working. So that report came. So now there is a bill which is called a data protection bill. The word personal is removed because it includes both. There is something called GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation. Now, general GDPR is made by European Union. So European Union has a Europe countries are members, 27 countries. So in each of those countries the GDPR is applicable. And then there is a GDPR audit. So then another is a cyber security. Now cyber security is anything which is in the cyber space. So now the various movies, the songs, in the entertainment field, in the commercial organization, in the private organizations, the digital use by an individual on various online payments, the website. So how, like, we in a physical environment, we have a security, we have a watchman, we have other securities. Similar way, there are security controls that, like, now in many places we have a two-factor identification. So what is two-factor identification? That there is a password, there is an OTP. So building all this, and there is no rocket science to learn any subject. What is required is a mindset. Yes, I can do it. Whatever has happened in this world has happened twice. First, in the mind of the person. This seminar which we are doing today on 19th of April, today it is happening for the second time. First time it happened between Dushyant, Vitlani and myself. Because there was a visit required to be done by me at Surat for some Surat infrastructure work. And then I spoke to him, the 19th April is suitable to me. And we decided to have a program. If that decision would not have taken place, we would not be meeting here. So it cannot be in reverse way, the event happening first and then the decision. No. It will be the first decision in the mind and a firm 100% belief that we can do it. Then it will happen in the reality. Whatever we have done, we have become chartered accountant twice. First in our mind, then only we filled up the CA course and paid the fees. You are in this seminar twice. First you thought in 3 hours you will get a value which may be 2,000, 20,000, whatever you would have decided. And then you decided to pay 200 plus tax. Now, how to excel in a subject? So say evaluation or somebody said blockchain technology. So go to Google and find out what is that subject. Google is the biggest teacher. Google is one explorer. We can go to any explorer on internet. Then buy all the books on that subject. There are published books, there are e-books. Then what I have done in my life over the years, 40 years, I qualified as CA in 83. I take up a speaking assignment. Say I don't know valuation. And I want to become expert in valuation. So I will take up an assignment, say towards the end of May, to speak on valuation. And then I will work backward. I will see what is valuation, for what it is used. If there is any course, I will do that course. I'll read the books. I will see, taking up assignment to speak or to write is like getting a passport or visa. I will contact other experts, learn from them. And by that process, and I will address, so many queries will come. then I will know what I do not know. So excelling comes, any expert was beginner on one day. On the first day, that person was beginner. Like if we are GST master today, on the first day we were beginner. Then we have mastered that subject. Now the most important task is how to make money. See, I am here means we each one of us are here not for a charity. We do not want to cheat someone, but we want to get value for our time and value for our labor in learning the subject. Now, there are 3 clauses in our first schedule to the Chartered Accountant Act, and we read first schedule to pass CA final exam, and then I am adding CP committee. CP committee sometimes says keep code of ethics mandatory 2 hours. So we listen those 3 clauses. Now, what are these 3 clauses? Clause 5 talks about securing the professional work. Clause 6 talks about soliciting the professional work. And clause 7 says advertising the professional work. Now, the best way to market is sharing the expert knowledge. See, action speaks louder than words. So take an example of cyber security only. Saying that Rajkumar Adukia is cyber security expert will not bring any work to Rajkumar Adukia. Because how the other side will trust. But if I start writing, I use social media. You know what I have been saying, that how to get a professional work is, I have made a PPT also. So yeah, I'm using post is disabled. See that I made co-post. Anyway, just see that sharing is enabled. Till the time the sharing is enabled, I'll share my ideas. Okay, thank you. Now, I have been saying that please use social media to become global and very successful professional. This is about me. We will skip this. I have mentioned only 11 of these social media platforms, but there are more than this. The like website is not. So the Facebook, LinkedIn, Insta, Pinterest, Twitter, Snapchat, YouTube, blog. So what one should do is, now we commonly use Facebook, LinkedIn, Insta and Twitter. I think majority of us. Facebook, LinkedIn is used by more commonly. And in Facebook and LinkedIn, we can be like how we have WhatsApp group. or Telegram group, we can be member of 6,000 groups. And in WhatsApp, like we have a limit of 256, or in Telegram, there is a limit of 2 lakhs. In Facebook and LinkedIn, there are no limit in the groups. So there may be groups with 50 lakhs members, or say 1 lakh members. So suppose I want to provide cyber security services or cyber, which is a larger domain. And like when we go to a shopping mall, they will have all brand. So my strong recommendation is take a larger canvas rather than a narrow canvas. Like in the digital space, like somebody was saying blockchain technology. Now that will also come. Cyber currency, that is also part of, because cyber currency is based on the blockchain platform. Blockchain is a distributed ledger technology. So Facebook and LinkedIn. So what I will do, there is a free graphic design platform called Canva, and in 4 hours or 6 hours, one can be a very good expert on flyer designing or putting a message on a flyer. I offer my services to work with those individuals who are serious and determined. Every day we will sit on a Zoom for 1 hour. I'll give an idea for 1 week what you can put on each day a different message. So once we have paid Canva, automatically the flyer of Facebook, LinkedIn will get size change as per the Insta requirement or Twitter requirement. So we will put a message, say one day we will put a message, what is the use of doing a e-commerce business rather than you are just doing a physical business. Maybe second day, what one should do for any application selection, what program one should have. One day I will say, what are the advantages of having a digital visiting card instead of a physical visiting card. One day I will say, what are the advantages of having a website. One day I will, so like this I will keep on. And as I said earlier, once we start doing something, God has made our computer software, it is an application. Our mind is an app. And any app, till we open the app do not work. We should know the app and the features of the app. Same thing applies with our mind. And every day we get 70,000 ideas. We don't know what ideas to keep and what to reject. And we will keep on reading, say 1 or 2 hours, we will invest every day on that subject. So like this, and we will have a YouTube channel. So what are the advantages of e-commerce business? How easy it is to have e-commerce business? How easy to have, and then you keep the teachers one-to-one. Like I keep teachers who teach me. So you learn certain languages, you learn web designing, you learn making YouTube channel, you learn how to make a YouTube video. And all these are so easy. Since we chartered accountant have been engrossed in our traditional practice, there is another law which is called Pareto's law, and it is also known as 80-20 law. 20% of our effort give 80% result, and 80% of our effort gives the balance 20% result. Tomorrow when you go to office, May I request all participants to keep their mobile on a silent mode so that they do not disturb others. So tomorrow make the list of your clients and the revenue which you receive from them. I have done this exercise. 20% of our clients may be phoning once in a year. They take 20% of our time and they make the payment of our bill as soon as they receive the bill. So income from them is 80%. And remaining 80%, they take 80% of our time and give only 20% income. So if we decide to leave, say 25% of such clients who are in the bucket of 80%, our probable revenue loss is 5%. But the increase in time is 20%, which can be invested to start a new practice. There is another law called Parkinson's law. And we can remember with the word parking. So that law says work expands as per the availability of time. And we have seen, when these income tax return dates are extended or tax audit due dates are extended, or the bank audit say last date is say 31st May. So we will keep on doing bank audit till 31st May. So the good time managers, they fix internally the time for the particular work. And then we are able to manage our time better. We should know for each activity whether it is so necessity that I must do. If it can be delegated or somebody else doing, then we should do that. So, any use of social media is not against the code of ethics. Because here what we are doing, and another powerful way is, suppose I have another 4 partners, we are 5 people together. So each should be profit center. Each one should take a different area of practice. So I take valuation, my another partner should take insolvency, third partner should take cyber security, fourth maybe labor law, fifth is export consultancy. So what I will do, when I use social media, I will take other 4 on valuation. The second partner who does insolvency will take other 4 other than. So like that, there will be a brand image created. If these 5 people are together, then whatever subscribers are there, they will be getting the message. So excelling in any area. So I am dividing, suppose we can have a compartment. One is mastering the subject self. Because unless I don't have a product, service is also a product. So what we are selling is our mastery. And I should take a larger playground. If my playground, like if I am walking, then I will take the whole stage. So take the Gujarat as a playground to start with. Not only Surat, there are 33 districts in Gujarat. Surat is one of them. Maybe it may be a second largest city after Ahmedabad. But, or take whole India as a ground. And then you expand in other countries if it is a global area of practice. Then the chances of success are very high. And then use other technology of affirmation, learning, 100% faith in yourself. Because unless I have a faith in myself, I will not be succeeding. So first is mastering the self. The second is the reaching out to the prospective customers. So that is also equally important. There is another terminology which has come up in the world is called thought leader. I have prepared a paper on that, and we want to make that concept. Each member of the institute should be thought leader. Now, what is a thought leader? Thought leader is one who is seen. So, thought leader speaks on that subject, writes on that subject. So, suppose if I want to, now in Surat, there is a trade association called Southern Gujarat Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Now do a test check. How many of you are a member of Southern Gujarat Chamber of Commerce and Industry? Good. Say, Ishwar, will you count? Again, raise the hand. "30" and we may be having a 1-3. And we may be having attendance of about 30, 40. So 1/3. Now, our customers will not lie in a conference of Surat branch. No. They are not customers. We may learn from them. They are not competitors also. But our prospective customer is in the trade bodies. So there is a Surat Management Association. I am a life member of Southern Gujarat Chamber of Commerce for last 40 years. And so, like that in other states and other cities, wherever those kind of facilities available, say like membership. So you make a once a payment and you forget about it. Then there is a Gujarat Chamber of Commerce and Industries. There is a Vadodara Industries Chamber of Commerce. We should become there. Take a leadership in the committee. So suppose Southern Gujarat Chamber of Commerce and Industry, if they don't have a cyber security committee, we should take an initiative that that committee is there. Then we interact with all members. I think there are membership is more than 8,000 members there. So that is, so thought leader is one who is seen, who is heard. So we can write in Business World, Business Today, Business India. We can write in Economic Times. So our prospective readers will read our articles, and when they will say Rajkumar Adukia writing on cyber security, they will approach me. We can give our email ID, mobile number. There is no violation of clause 5, 6, 7. Because I am sharing a knowledge and my contact details are there. So we should share the information on another way which I have adopted myself. I will find out all cyber related seminars and I will write to them, to the organizers, that I wish to share my knowledge. I have seen in many platforms, in fact, they will be paying for our travel and stay. And I will get a visibility and prospective clients out of that. Read some good books on marketing. There is a book called Science of Getting Rich. It is 77 pages book. Very small book, PDFs. All these are available on the Google. Written in 1910 by Wallace Wattles. He has given 17 chapters. To reach here means to get anything. It is including money. And one of the principles stated there is impression of increase. That means, like, one of the participants was asking me how we can render more value addition to the client. So that book says, if the client is paying 5,000, value of our services should be more than 5,000, maybe 7,000, maybe 10,000, maybe 20,000. Whatever we have purchased in our life, product or service, we have seen the value. If we go to 5-star for a lunch or dinner and pay 2,000, sometimes we have felt the value is more than 2,000. Therefore, we are going there. Otherwise, the same product may be available in 100 rupees. So, and then it is stated another principles, gratitude and things like that. There is another book I would like each one of you to read. It's called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. This book is written in 1930. Again, a PDF is available, YouTube videos are available, audio is available free on Google. This book has 15 chapters and there are 13 principles. The first chapter is a thought. Without thought, nothing will happen. If I feel that there is no work in a particular area, I will not be succeeding in that area. So then 13 principles, the next 13 chapters are on 13 principles. I have made an acronym. D, FAKI, PDP, MEM, BS. So in my mind, with due respect to Delhi walas, कि Delhi वाले फेंकते हैं. D, FAKI. PDP is a public development program. Madam ka ma'am or BS balancing. Now, what are these 13 principles? First is a desire. There should be a burning desire. Ki I will be number one in cyber work. If a cyber work name comes, it should be Rajkumar Adukia. Each, world leaders had a burning desire. Amitabh Bachchan is Amitabh Bachchan because he had a burning desire. The second Faki, F is faith. 100% faith. If the faith is 99.9, our effort will be less. Like when I make a presentation, I always say, I do some affirmation before making, like I was doing here. This will be my best speech of my life, best sharing of my life. So you get that positive. Then the third principle is A, auto suggestion. Once you decide on burning desire and 100% faith, your mind will give suggestion. You do this, do that many times. Then K is a knowledge, specialized knowledge. It should be so specialized, super specialized. Nobody else should be possessing that. Fifth is imagination. Then sixth is planning. P is planning, organized planning. Seventh is decision. Eighth is persistence. If the client has not come for 3 months, we will not give up what we are doing. Our effort will be on. Even if the client has not come for 1 year, maybe after 1 year we will get 1 crore of rupees or maybe 20 lakhs of rupees. So the effort of 365 days will be worked on that. Then M is mastermind. In a business or profession, 1 plus 1 is 11. They are not 2. The synergy and the power is very high. Then name is enthusiasm. You have to have a self-motivation. If I am a council member, it has to be my enthusiasm. I may get bad messages, maybe negative, this thing, but I have to internally enthuse myself. There are a lot of YouTube videos, how to have self-enthusiasm, how to, protect yourself with all negative ideas, negative messages. Then the 11th is subconscious mind. Each one of us are at a conscious level. Subconscious level is at the alpha stage. We have a alpha, beta, gamma stage of thinking and frequency of our mind. So our subconscious mind is super active, just before we go to the sleep or as soon as we get up. So that time you have a vision board or you tell your mind that you are number one in cyber knowledge. And then it is brain, 12th principle, and 13 is a sixth sense. The 15th chapter is overcoming the fear. So when you do something, so you are not bothered about what is the comment given by others. So social media use, I can take a separate session with those who are interested. Nikesh, you can make a group and I commit myself. Otherwise, आप लोग बोल सकते हो कि भाई आपने ये बोला था. So whatever I say, take with other partners, make videos. You can create a YouTube video yourself in 15 minutes. We can do a trial session. All these are YouTube videos on this is available. Institute pays 500 rupees for writing one page. Now, when this, no, I have not written anything in my life. I have not written an article. See, all that is irrelevant. Any expert was beginner on day one. Increase in professional network. This is what I stated about Facebook, Twitter. So we have 700 crore population in the world, and more than 60% uses social media. We should have our own website where we can share our articles, we should know how to do. We can start doing the virtual meetings with our prospective customers. Like when we have a Facebook, LinkedIn, we can write, that I'm talking about cyber security. So depending on the energy at our level, we can do the meeting weekly, fortnightly, or monthly, whatever is. Take the assistance of others to start with. I am prepared to be a partner with anyone without any remuneration on the passion of that person. Because it is my passion that each one of us grow. So how to develop practice, make your presence felt. There are few members here, with whom I have talked to them. I have said that we will do this, but unless the initiative comes from the other side, like we can take the horse to the water, to the river, but horse has to drink herself or himself, whatever is gender we say. Somebody cannot put the water in the mouth of the horse. Exchange visiting cards, make website, write articles, keep on doing some courses. Now Udemy, there are so many things where we can keep on buy all books, read the Barrett, be positive, ask questions when you attend a seminar, because that way also your presence is felt. Subconscious mind is a very, very powerful than conscious mind. There is a book of Dr. Joseph Murphy on the power of subconscious mind. It's available on Google. There's a book called Silva Mind Control Method. Do some self-development courses, do public speaking courses, do the maybe courses on writing the books. We are going to do a course on write the books. There is a World Book Day coming, I think on 23rd, or we'll shortly announce. There is a chartered accountant, Nitin Soni in Delhi. He does a lot of courses on how to write books in 30 days. Principle of impression of increase. Use mind mapping to learn. God has given us unlimited memory. See, the person who does more exercise, that person becomes more stronger compared to one who does not do exercise. Similarly, mind, if we do the exercise of the mind becomes more stronger to remember, to understand, to memorize. But if we don't do the exercise of the mind will become very lethargic. जो दिखता है वो बिकता है, अगर दिखेगा ही नहीं तो कैसे बिकेगा? These are 13 principles which I narrated. Any questions? Any at least one or two questions should be raised. Otherwise, I will not know whether you are listening or whether you are understanding what I say. I request that tech team take support. Your name is not coming. Are there any questions on the chat box? Murtaza, please see whether there are any questions. Please speak out because I may not be seeing the chat box. Yes, please. Yes. Little louder.
How can we start social consultancy service? Keeping in mind our CA
What is social consultancy?
service, you mentioned social consultancy.
Maybe I may have mentioned social media consultancy services. Have I mentioned social media or social? Must be social media.
Social media, sir. Social media.
So what is social? To render any service, we have to be master of that. Like, I have started rendering social media consultancy service, and I may be learning last 2 years. I had a teacher who was teaching me Facebook, LinkedIn. Then in last 6-7 months, I kept 3 teachers on technology. Someone teaching only on, say, marketing, use of all these platforms. One person teaches me cyber security and other things. Third person teaches me the language, like I'm learning Python, C++, coding. So this depends on each one's interest. But what is social media consultancy is, say you want to enhance your practice in labor consultancy. So I will tell you how to use the Facebook, how to use LinkedIn, what messages you should, that each organization must comply with the law. Ganesh sir will be speaking on, how to the Shops and Establishment Factory Act. There is an act called POSH, Prevention of Sexual Harassment. So every entity having 10 employees must have certain committees. So how to make a YouTube video, how to upload YouTube video on the YouTube channel, how to increase once we have 1000 members and some hours of viewing. YouTube pages, it becomes like permanent income. How to have a blog. So every business, every service needs this. So I'll be, shortly, perhaps Ajit sir will become my client, maybe others. So this is social media consultancy. For any consultancy, first we should be the expert. And expert means reasonable knowledge. Till we die, we will keep on learning. So this is social. So social media consultancy. So first we should know what is social media. How many platforms are there? Like when we create a YouTube video, we get 3 files are created. One is MP4, there is a audio file, there is a video file. So audio file we can put on podcast, which is only a audio portal, and there are 10 other portals where automatically that file get uploaded. So when I'm driving or I'm doing some exercise, or I can listen only on video because audio. So that is social media consultancy. Very good question. Yes, please. Yeah. Yeah. What's your name? Dilip, a very good question. Mind mapping, if you Google out, there was a person called Tony Bhujan. Now, this person has developed a technology called mind mapping. What is mind mapping? The name suggests you do a mapping in the mind. So, suppose if I want to learn Companies Act 2013, So Companies Act has a 470 sections. There are 29 chapters and there are 7 schedules. So I will draw a diagram, circle, and then I will draw 29 lines on that circle. So each will be for each chapter. So chapter 1 preliminary, chapter 2 incorporation, chapter 3 prospectus, chapter 4 deposits, and then I will further go into detail of each chapter, like what is a mind mapping is, like you make arrows on the subject, like in my election campaign, you can see the page. I have used the mind mapping on page 17 or something. All my agendas I have mapped. These are the areas for the members, students. Next time I will put that in here. So I extensively use technology in my Central Council election. And that was only used like every day you make a YouTube video and share it with a member. You share the YouTube video on Facebook, on LinkedIn. You mass mail every day with one new article. On the flyer, you send a positive message. I am just giving one live example for an object. I'm not saying ki. So once you are determined, it happens. Any other query? Last query I'll take. Yes, please.
Sir, can you tell us about some lesser discovered opportunities or what we can say the
Yeah. What's your name?
Aziz Sheikhs?
See, I have not shown the full of. I have made 3 PPT, and I'll on this answer I will show you the names of global opportunities and non-traditional. I have divided into 2 groups. So both are not traditional, but global opportunities is a, like in all countries you can render these services. So these are global areas. One is internal control measures. In every entity, more important than internal audit is internal control. So how we can avoid theft, how we can avoid loss. Then forensic services. So they are not country specific or city specific. Enterprise risk management. So suppose if one is selling to 5 customers, if 2 of them do not buy the product, there is a risk. So how that risk can be? Human resource management, job description, job policy, number of people in the organization, cyber security, digital economy, and data protection. So a wider space, e-commerce and startups, global funding, insolvency and bankruptcy, drafting of business documents. We can have a portal. There are more than 500 documents. It's so simple. So if somebody want a will to be drafted, we can draft that. If somebody want a commercial contract to be drafted, we can draft that. Trust deed, we can draft that. Partnership deed. There are books available. One is to do a learning. See, everything will not come on its own. Then outsourcing, few members wanted to discuss that. So IFRS, each country has a, US gap is there. So once you know, it was Luca Pacioli in 1494. He wrote accounting in 10 lines. He said every business transaction will get 2 accounts affected, and all accounts can be classified in personal, real, nominal. Then personal debit the receiver, credit the giver, real debit what comes in credit. So all accounting standard is nothing but application of those 10 lines. Anti-money laundering, competition laws. We have a lot of certificate courses. We have 14 of them by ICAI, and there are diploma courses. We should do that. Corporate governance, independent director, CSR, corporate social responsibility, climate change mitigation, international trade, industry specific specialization, ADR. Then I have elaborated each of these areas. So this PPT is with the branch. I will also put on the website of the CPE committee. Then there are non-traditional areas other than global areas. So real estate is one area, MSME, merger amalgamation. I may have done a online income, business tribunals. We are eligible to appear in 20 tribunals. NPO, trust, societies, charitable sector. We are not doing charitable activity, but those who are doing charitable activity, we can render services to them. Recovery mechanism, labor law, IPR services, like 26th April is a World IPR Day. We are doing 3 hours. You will get an intimation, 3 hours webinar on how to learn IPR. Valuers, cooperative sector, where Ishwar Seti is the WIRC chairman. Succession laws, Hindu law, NBFC. One NBFC registration you may charge 5 lakh, 10 lakh. There are no service providers. The work may come only one company in a year, but then also it is sufficient to devote that much time to learn the subject. Social media consultancy, subsidy schemes of the states, coaching, finance for non-finance executives, virtual legal counsel, virtual CFO, agriculture, sustainable economic development, opportunities under company law. I have exceeded my time, so I would like to stop here. Thank you very much to the organizers, to the teachers.
Thank you, sir, for enlightening the members about the non-traditional areas of practice. Apart from the 4 topics which you said, that tax, audit, tax include direct tax and indirect tax, accounting. So, I think members will be highly benefited, and it will be an eye opener for all participants today, sir. Now, today's next session is labor law consultancy, labor consultancy. And I request Sri Ganesh Shetty sir to come on the stage. And before that, I would like to give a brief introduction of it. He has given just one liner. He is a labor law consultant practicing in Surat and in a proprietorship. And with these words, I request sir to take the stage and start the session. Sir.
Respected dignitaries on the dais and off the dais, CA fraternity studying and already those who are CAs. The labor law practice is one practice where you cannot avoid, because labor is one of the fundamental person who is contributing to your service or manufacturing activities. Every law has its root in the Indian Constitution. The articles giving the right to each and every person in different capacity, whether he is a child or a woman or a minor or a major. The rights are defined in the articles. Same way, protect the right of labor It is also defined in the articles. Now, whether an establishment is there, it has been classified in two parts. Whether it is a proprietorship firm, partnership firm, private limited, or public limited. One part is called factory, another part is called shop and establishment. The establishment either to register in shop and establishment or factory. Now, shop and establishment means, let us proceed with factory act first, then I will proceed with shop and establishment. Factory means where manufacturing activity is conducted using 20% and using electricity. And manufacturing activity is conducted without using electricity, where you employ 40 employees. So manufacturing is defined in the Factory Act, Section 2K of the Act. If you go for in Factory Act Section 2K, clearly define what is manufacturing. Now in factory, there are two sections are there. Section 2M clause 1 and Section 2M clause 2. The first part which I explained in the presentation, that is coming under Section 2 clause M subclause 1, and second part is coming Section 2M clause 2. Shop and establishment is those who are not doing manufacturing activity. It is coming under shop and establishment. Any establishment, if you are speaking about Gujarat, any establishment which employ less than 10 employees and not doing the manufacturing activity, they have to register with the Shop and Establishment Act. And those who are doing non-manufacturing activity and employed more than that, they have to register. There are two parts in the Shop and Establishment Act. If you employ less than 10 employees, you have to just intimate. There is not mandated to take the registration. You have to intimate in the Surat Municipal Corporation website or any other municipal corporation website that I have employed this much employee in my establishment. They are giving you the intimation certificate. Whereas if you employ more than 10 employees, then they are giving the certificate of Shop and Establishment Act. Now, establishment in many, more outwardly in shop and establishment, you won't find that contract labor employees, whereas in big manufacturing activities, let us assume that Reliance or SR or some other companies, you are going to employ contract labor in the field of non-manufacturing activity, which is incidental to the main manufacturing activities. Let us assume that you are going to provide the facility of canteen. There you have to give the contract employees. Whereas you are giving to facility of sweeper and other electric service. These are services where you have to mandatorily employ the Contract Labor Regulation Act. Because contract labor is employed, the main reason is that the reduction of the cost. And second thing, these employees are not permanent employees. You have to employ permanent employees means you are obliged to give different facility to such employees. So Contract Labor Regulation Act, if you employ them, whenever you are required, you can discontinue the contract. Automatically, the contract labor will leave the premises without asking any right his permanency. That is the basic objective of Contract Labor Regulation Act. If now in Gujarat is concerned state, where you employ less than 50 employees, it is not mandatory to make a registration of Contract Labor Regulation Act. If you employ more than 50 employees, you are obliged to give registration under Contract Labor Regulation Act. Now, there are two parts are there in the Contract Labor Regulation Act. That is, an employer has to register himself with the government authority that is coming under the labor department, that I am going to employ such number of establishment. They are contracted in my establishment. Apart from that, he has to mention the number of employees. I'm employing 100, 200. So list of employer he has to give as a contractor as well as that strength also. So after that, contractor going to the government department and he places application that I am employed such number of contractors in such establishment. How the department comes to know that? Another part is there, that is the license part, where you find that first you have to pay the license fees. License fees and security deposit are the two factors. Security deposit is the factor that employer has to pay, contractor has to pay the government authority as a security to the per labor. If one labor is employed, he has to deposit 540 rupees. Earlier it was 270, now it is increased to 540. If you have to going to employ 100 employees, In that case, you have to go 54,000 as a security deposit. Then second part is the principal employer going to give form 5 to you. You have to accompany with that application work order also. Then the government department give the license to you, work as a contract labor in a particular establishment. Now, contract labor license is given minimum for 1 year and maximum for 5 years. As the work order is mentioned, it is mentioned for 1 year, you are entitled to get a license for 1 year. Whereas it is mentioned for 5 years, then you are entitled to get the license for 5 years. Now, normally, any establishment will give work order only for 1 year so that he has a control on his contractor. Whenever he is required, terminate his contract and can appoint another person. That is the main reason. In a construction project, that construction project is lasting for more than 1 year. So in that case, they are giving more work order for more than 1 year. So they can reduce their cost because each time they no need to renew that one. Once all of it, if project is running for, let us say, assume that bullet train project is running on. So it is lasting for 2 to 3 to 4 years. So all of a sudden government will give you the contract for 5 years. So you have to register once only. Now, contract labors are two parts, central government contract and state government contracts. Central government contracts are like contracts, railway authority, airport authority. For example, in the Surat is concerned, any work is going on ONGC, it is considered central contracts. You have to register with the central government. Whereas state government is of the any establishment. Let us assume that Reliance is coming under state government. So you have to register with the state government. This is a two part. You have to differentiate. You must aware that which is central government license and which is the state government license. I am obtaining, and if you apply state government, you may get the license and you are legally in the obligation. When you produce that license in the bullet train department, he will not pass your bills. This is the fact about the contract labor. Now, as you are aware that professional tax is deducted from the salary of an employee. Now it is amended, as earlier it was deducted less than 6,000 nil, 6 to 9,000 it is 80 rupees. Now since 1st of April 2022 it is became nil, and 9,000 to 12,000 it is earlier 150 rupees, now it is nil, and more than 12,000 rupees you have to deduct 200 rupees from each employee salary every month, and you have to deposit on or before 15th of every month to the state government in the case of state area, and in the local area it should be deposited in the municipal corporation. Now, what is the state government? What is the municipal corporation? The municipal corporation limit where you have to deposit the professional tax to the municipal corporation. Whereas in the state notified area, suppose your establishment working in GIDC of Vapi, that is coming on state notified area. So you have to register with the state. So these are the internal factors you must know while you are practicing in labor law. The client may come from any places. You must differentiate where to register himself, where to deposit the amount. Otherwise, you will be in the problem. Your client also in the problem, and blaming will be taken on your part because you have not guided properly. So ensure that before you are making any registration, that which area it is falling. Suppose your establishment in remote location. Let us assume that some factory is there in Kosamba area. So that person has to deposit his professional tax in that local area. Suppose Torrent Power is there in Akakol, Cambridge area. So he has to deposit his professional tax over there. If he has to register himself over there. There are two parts in professional tax. One is the employer part and another part is the employee part. Employer has to deposit his professional tax. His turnover is more than 25 lakh per year. He has to deposit his share of professional tax 2,400. Now it is increased to 100 rupees more. Now it is 2,500 on or before September 30th. Area where he falls. Now establishment having registered in the shop and establishment having registered in the factory act. So he has to register, pay each and every location 2,500 rupees. Now I register myself in Surat Municipal Corporation and registered in the shop and establishment. I paid 2,500 rupees. Another factory is locating in another different place. So I am not need to pay. It is not like that. Each location considered to be a separate place, and each location you have to pay the professional tax of employer as well as the employee of particular that location. If you are doing the audit, you have to take into consideration these facts. If you are communicating to the your employer, you have to say, that means client, you have to say these facts clearly to them. Employee Provident Fund Act, Miscellaneous Provision Act 1952. Maybe in short, everybody is saying that Provident Fund. A Provident Fund has two parts. One is called voluntary coverage, another part is mandatory coverage. Those who are employed 20 employee or more, he has to mandatorily cover himself in the Provident Fund Act. Voluntary coverage is that the liberty of the employer. Some employer will enroll himself in the Provident Fund Act. As far as CA is concerned, there are so many provident, that is recognized Provident Fund Act, unrecognized Provident Fund Act, and this is a I am speaking about the statutory Provident Fund Act. Recognized that this is income tax recognized where you take the liberty of exemption whatever you pay as a recognized provident. Unrecognized means suppose you are paying voluntarily covered but not registered with the income tax. So your whatever expenses you are paying, it is not exempted as a expenses. Now cost of the employer in each case. Employer share is 3.67% and 8.33%. There are two parts is there. One is going to 3.67% is for going to the employee share, whereas 8.33% is going to the pension fund. Now it is a contingency of the employment. Suppose employee expires, what should be done to his family? So 8.33% where he get the different benefit of as a pension to his family in the sense of his father, mother, his wife or his kids. Up to the age of 25 years if kids are there, and apart from that all are till the date of death. Now employee share is 12% is deducted from the employee share each and every month. Same way employer has to deposit the on or before 15th of each and every month. Now, if you want deposit in time, that is, let's assume the 15th is the date. What is the consequences of the damages and interest? That is a rate as mentioned as 5, 10, 15, 20. That is 14, 2, 4, 6 and above. Means in respective rates you have to pay. Apart from that, you have to pay the damages at the rate of 12%. So most of the cases, employer will pay on or before 15th of every month because the amount is going to be anything 36% like that. So delay cause a problem to you. Employee State Insurance Act. This is a one risk management to the employer. Now, whoever is mandatory register himself if he employs 10 or more employees in the ESIC. And those who are earning monthly gross salary 21,000 or less, mandatory deduct the contribution of ESIC. That is a 0.75% from employee share and 3.75% from the employer share. Now, there are two parts in ESIC. One is called implemented area and another is called non-implemented area. Implemented area most probably in the jurisdiction of the municipal corporation limit. ESIC is applicable. Some are non-implemented area which is mentioned by the ESIC, these areas where ESIC is not applicable. Where ESIC is not applicable, their mandatory Workmen Compensation Act is applicable. So those who are registered under the Employee State Insurance Act, Workmen Compensation Act is not applicable and Maternity Benefit Act is not applicable. Now, what is implemented area and non-implemented? That is in Surat itself, if Hajira is covered as an implemented area, whereas if you form an establishment in Ichhapur area, that is non-implemented. Each notification is given by the government, which area is a notified implemented area and which area is non-implemented area. Now, cost to company, CTC. If you employ any employee in an establishment, so what is the cost of the company to an employee? If you pay salary, it is not only the cost. Apart from that, you have to pay PF, ESIC, bonus, paid leave and gratuity. These are the factors which is affecting an employer in the cost. Let us assume that minimum wages is 9,500 rupees. In that case, you have to contribute 12% towards PF, that is 140 rupees. Apart from that, you have to contribute ESIC 357, that is 3.75%. Apart from that, you have to give bonus 791 rupees per month and multiply by 12. That is the cost of minimum bonus of 8.33%. Paid leave is costing 15 days salary per year. That is 457, and gratuity minimum 1.25. That is a 15 days salary of per year. That is 457. So total CTC cost is coming 12,277. In the case if you employ any employee for 9,500 rupees, he is costing 12,277 rupees to you. Actually, his cost is 12,000. You believe that his salary 9,000? It doesn't act like that. You have to mention the employer these costing also. The payment of bonus act. Any establishment is startup. In that case, up to 5 years there is a liberty of payment of bonus. Bonus act is applicable only you employ 10 employees and manufacturing activity is going on. The first 5 years you are obliged to pay bonus only on the condition that you make the profit. Otherwise, it is not obligatory on your part to make any bonus payment. After that, after the 6th year, this criteria will be not applicable at all. If you have to pay mandatorily 8.33% as a bonus and subject to your profit is more, then maximum you have to pay 20% as a bonus. That is the criteria, or minimum wages, whichever is higher. For example, minimum wages is 9,500 rupees and your bonus calculation is coming 8,500. In that case, you are obliged to give 9,500 instead of 8,500 rupees. Nominee. Nominee is another factor which is very important in the case of labor is concerned under the Provident Fund Act, under the ESIC Act, under the Factory Act, and under the Payment of Gratuity Act. Who will be the nominee? If unmarried person, his father and mother can be a nominee. Married person, his wife can be a nominee. Kids can be nominee. Brothers and sisters can be a nominee. In the absence of above all, he can mention anybody else. And further, nominee can be shared in different percentages. Let us assume that percentage means in Gratuity Act, he has earning something 1,000 rupees as a gratuity. In that case, he can share that one 20% to my father, 20% to my mother, 25% to wife, and 10% to kid, like that. So he can break his share of benefits. And it is applicable to provident contribution also, ESIC also, and in the case of Factory Act. Factory Act is coming in the picture only on the paid leave benefits and under Payment of Gratuity Act. The Payment of Gratuity Act is applicable when you employ 10 or more employees in an establishment. Now, every employee who completes 5 years of service, you are obliged to give gratuity on that amount. Now, gratuity is a criteria. 5 years is a compulsory criteria where he has to work for an establishment. If he works for different establishment, he is not entitled for that. If he works for only one establishment, then only he is entitled for gratuity. Gratuity is paid on basic and the last job on the date of his exit. Means last month full salary, whatever there, that gratuity is calculated. Gratuity is paid on 15 days salary, completed year of service. Let us assume that what is the formula for that? Basic plus divided by 26, number of years of service, multiplied by 15, so you come to the amount of gratuity. For example, one person's salary is 9,000 rupees, it should be divided by 26. Then you come to per day salary, multiply by 8 years, multiply by 15. So around 41,538 is gratuity amount become to be payable. Certain cases the employee works for 6 months, or let us assume that 6 years and 8 months. In that case, you are obliged to give for 7 years gratuity instead of 6 years. If he is working for less than 6 months, you are obliged to give for less years. If he works more than 6.5 years, you have to give to next higher. Anything else you want to ask? Any question about this under the labor laws? This is a major act and given. Apart from that, there is a lot of acts are there, because Industrial Dispute Act is there, Minimum Wages Act is there, Payment of Wages Act is there, Model Standing Order Act is there. Around 40 acts are there. So it is not possible to explain in half an hour everything. What is the major applicable to a CA student or auditor? That is I mentioned over here. Yes. Yes, applicable. If now there are two things is there. That is construction site. If construction site is there, normally you are not builder himself is a appointing doing construction. He is normally employing a contract laborers. So first contract labor regulation act is applicable those who are working over there. If you are employing more than 10 employees, apart from contract labor, you are have to register yourself in the building and other construction worker act also. Further, you have to pay 1% cess of the total cost of the building construction. Apart from that, those who are appointed in the officers, means builder having his office where he employ more than 10 employees as a permanent employee, in that case, all act is applicable, whichever employed as per over here. Anything else you want to ask? Now, what is the obligation? Obligation, who is giving the contract, his obligation is a fundamental obligation. Thereafter, if contractor registered himself, then his obligation is there. But who is doing the activity, he is the main responsible for that. If you giving the call, now you go for Reliance or everywhere or L&T, you won't get the work unless you are registered yourself with PF, you are registered with DSIC. If you are doing the construction activity outside the premises, means those who are registered in the factory plan, apart from the you are doing the construction work, then you have to register your other building and other construction work also. Otherwise, they are not issued gate pass to you. They let you go out from the gate itself, not allowed. Even you having the license for 100 workers, you employ 1 or 2 workers, it is not possible. They are leaving other 2 workers outside. Once he enters, risk will start. Anything else? Anybody? Thank you very much for giving me this great opportunity to present my speech on the labor law.
Thank you, sir, for highlighting the members about the labor law consultancy. Now we have our third session, that is on export opportunities, and we have with us Sri Ajit Shah from Mumbai. And to introduce him, I would like to request Sri Dilip Singh Gehlot for the brief introduction of our today's faculty, Sri Ajit Shah, sir.
Thank you, sir. Good evening to all. Today it's a great privilege for me to introduce our guest of speaker, Sir Ajit Jariwala. By qualification, he is a BCom LLB Diploma in Export Import Management. By profession, he is a faculty and consultant for international businesses. His experience is over 35 years in the field of export and import as a trainer and a consultant. He is an association with All India Stainless Steel Industries, Bombay Industrial Association, and the Bombay Fountain Pen Manufacturing and Trader Association. He is an ex-editor in All India Import-Export Weekly Journal. He is awarded by SME Excellent Award for 2011 by SME Chamber of India, and he has conducted n number of seminar and training for many organizations and company. Please give a huge round of applause for welcoming our today's speaker. Thank you.
Let me start with the Chinese proverb. Light and angel. There's no introduction. Same way, to a chartered accountant, the word export
hardly needs any introduction. 75 years of our independence, 15 prime ministers, and 32 political parties at Delhi. In spite of all these, is a one thing which is common for the country, and that is export should be promoted. Whichever may be the government, whichever is the political agenda they have. From today, 1947 onwards, there is not a single government who has not emphasized on export as the nation's priority. Friends, what are we today here? The task which is given to me is to make you aware about the tremendous opportunities which are available in the exports. You all are professionals doing practice. One of the area in which there's a huge scope to do the export related services consultancy and how to diversify your activities. It will take a time. So overall, all your present activities can continue, but this you can do add on because this is an area in which there are hardly consultants, advisors, people are available, professionals. Obviously, where there's a less crowd, there's a good opportunity. So, I just wanted to share with you my 40 years practical experience in this field. I've always enjoyed. I've always found that there are new challenges in the field of exports and you get opportunity to sharpen your knowledge. Very recently, a client from Karnataka, he called me. I was not knowing him, he has seen my YouTube and from that he called me. Problem was, he shipped 2 containers of grapes from Jet Depot. It was meant for Russia. Obviously, we all know that from last 21st, this Russia is having a problem. Steamer left from Jet Depot, heading towards Russia, and this problem came. Obviously, this shipping company decided not to go to Russia, like all the shipping companies did, to terminate and to diversify. The export of 50 lakhs of rupees was about 2 40-liter containers containing grapes. So he called me, sir, what to do? I'm confused, I do not know what about it. I said, my 3 questions you answer and then I'll tell you what is the solution. First, where is the steamer at the moment? When we are talking, where exactly the steamer? We all know technology. To that he said, sir, it is near Spain. The steamer is going to have the next port of calling, is a Spanish port. I said, request the shipping company to unload the over there in the Spain, and how much time you will have? He says, sir, maximum 2.5 days. I said, speak to the shipping company and come back to me. Is it doable? He gave me a feedback. So shipping company agreed that they will offload both the containers over there and then you tell me what it is. I said, give me 4 hours. Entire my team, 8 people in my office, we started contacting Spanish importer of fruits and vegetables. We were not knowing, we didn't have any contact. Friends, we all are lucky enough that today, because of technology, through the internet, through the Google, I could reach. My entire office was working with the same thing. I drafted one standard model email. I said, start sending it. The time difference was there. We had a day, there was not having a day. So I said, we have to wait till the feedback comes. It was a blind game, but I have to save the client. Friends, remember, when you do your practice, you're going to get the money. I'm not going to say no to it. But when you enjoy that doing, that is the plus. That is what exactly I want to share. Moment you say you are chartered accountant, your knowledge level is above average. You are plus. You put a very hard work how to get through the CA, inter and CA final is known to everybody. No need to certify. What we need to do is, what I'm trying to do is that, friends, प्रैक्टिस आप करोगे पैसा मिलेगा. पैसे के साथ में आपको जो दिन लगे कि मेरी एनर्जी, मेरा नॉलेज, मेरी ताकत, मेरी IQ से मुझे थोड़ा और चढ़ के मिला. मुझे एक ऐसे सिचुएशन फर्स्ट टाइम लाइफ में, मैंने स्पेनिश वालों से कॉरेस्पॉन्डेंस किया, स्पेनिश कॉन्सुलेट, जो भी मेरे सोर्स जो भी थे, वो सबसे मैंने कांटेक्ट करना शुरू कर दिया. Lucky enough I got 2 messages. They said we are interested. I said my goods are available at the port if you wanted to go and see that. One person agreed, but he said, give me your price. I was in a corner. Don't be frustrated. He knew जो एक स्टीमर 8 million नहीं है, वो आया तो वो तो बेनिफिट उठाएगा. I asked my client, negotiate. Don't look at the price. Make him mentally ready to accept. And he did it very successfully. We decided that we'll sell it and we'll paperwork start. ये सब आपको बहुत big काम करना. That is where your challenge will be there. If you feel that you are a challenger in outside the world, they are champions. You are working with them. उन्होंने पूरा कर दिया, documents दे दिया. He filed the document in Spanish custom. The cargo was originally for Russia. Now it's being a food item, fruits, vegetables. इसमें phytosanitary certificate. वो certificate European standard का नहीं. They rejected. They said we cannot clear it because my customer is not allowing. I said first failure. We can. I said now not only Spain, nowhere in the Europe I'll be able to sell because I know what is the option. This is the learning. You do not know what problem will come, what moment the problem will come. Up to that Spanish party agreed to buy with me. Lucky enough, I was at good price, but we could not do that. Obstacle. He said what to do. I said, ask the shipping company, this container we want to reload. What it is. He said, we'll bring it to you. The problem is we grapes की shelf life 60 days है. 17 days हमारे चले गए. इंडिया में यदि मैं वापस लाता हूं तो और 22 दिन लग जाता है. इंडियन कस्टम का एक लॉ है, कोई भी चीज इंडिया में वापस आती है इंपोर्ट के टाइम पे, तो रिमेनिंग 60% of the validity period should be there. Then only it will be allowed for import. तो उसमें थोड़ा 2-3 दिन का फर्क आ रहा है. और शिप के अंदर तो वो भरोसा नहीं, 3 दिन चला गया तो आपका यह माल लाने के बाद दरिया में फेंक. शिपिंग कंपनी ने भी चांस लिया, वो बोला हम आपको वापस लाने का चार्ज लगाएं. Because that's an additional service. I said no, I'll talk to them. I talked to the very highest people, confident. Sir, ये नहीं हो सकता है. This is force measure, this that. They finally agreed. We'll take it back. Now मुझे इंडिया तो लाना ही, क्योंकि days were coming. I said which is the next port which is coming where you can offload? Turkey. Same exercise. I said company को बोलो टर्की में कंटेनर ऑफलोड, नो चार्जेस ऑन. क्लाइंट को मैंने बोला यू फ्लाई, क्योंकि पेरिसेबल आइटम. तो मैं बोला जैसे कस्टमर आए उसको कंटेनर खोलो, इंस्पेक्शन चाहिए या नहीं चाहिए आप करवा लो सर्वेयर से, इंश्योरेंस का. कभी मुझे क्लेम करना है शिपिंग कंपनी के सामने किसी के भी, वो करवा लो. क्लाइंट फ्लू ऑन दैट डे, वीजा वगैरह अरेंज किया, 1 लाख रुपए का एक्स्ट्रा बोला मैंने खर्चा है. I said do it. He went over there and yesterday I got that the time. The party was saved from that loss of 50 lakhs. There was a loss, but it was a profit out of the loss or less loss. That's how we got it. Friend, my point to be conveyed to you, your takeaways. कोई भी आप प्रैक्टिस करो, जैसे लेबर लॉ का सर ने बताया, अड़ुकिया सर ने पूरी दुनिया आपके सामने खोल दी. कोई भी करो. What you do in that how much you enjoy, how much आपकी जो ability को sharpen के कहा हूँ. मैं एक और example, जॉर्ज करके एक मेरा काउंटर पार्ट है. We call him William. वो जर्मनी. We both are consultants and we have a principal to principal base. Means वो जो मुझे पूछता है मैं उसका चार्ज नहीं करता और मैं उसको पूछूंगा वो चार्ज नहीं करता. लेकिन उनकी एक हैबिट क्या थी, अभी तो ईमेल आ गया, मैं पहले वो एक मार्कर पेन जैसी पेन लेता था, अपना लेटर लिखा, उनको जो पूछना है ना वो हाथ से लिख के फैक्स करा. वो टाइम पे फैक्स नहीं था, वो टाइम फैक्स मेरे टेबल पे पड़ा रहते थे. उनके हैबिट थी फैक्स भेजने के बाद वो पूछेगा, फोन करेगा, हाउ रिसीव, आई एम विलियम, हाउ रिसीव. तो मेरे पूरे स्टाफ को मालूम था, वो पढ़ लेते थे, कोई पढ़ने में तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं आ रही, ओके होता था, हम लोग रोक के वो फोन रखते. कुछ एक बार ऐसा हो गया, मैं मीटिंग के लिए जा रहा था, ऐसे खड़ा होके मैं निकल और फैक्स आ रहा था. तो फैक्स का जब स्टार्टिंग आता है, लेटेड आ गया तो मुझे लगा ये विलियम का है. तो मैंने क्या किया, बोला इंस्टेड ऑफ कोई स्टाफ जवाब मैं जवाब दे, वो नहीं करना चाहिए था, ओवर डूइंग. तो जैसे फैक्ट्स में कुछ नहीं था, कोई चीज का उनको ड्यूटी पूछना, मैंने पढ़ लिया था. फैक्ट्स खत्म होते ही उनका फोन आया, हाउ रिसीव्ड. अभी मुझे इतना ही बोलना था, गुड, ओके. तो मैं थोड़ा ओवरवाइज हो गया, थोड़ा ओवर डूइंग हो गया. आई सेड विलियम, इट्स वेरी गुड, नो इश्यू, आई विल रिप्लाई यू टुडे. यहाँ पे मैं आपका फोकस अटेंशन चाहूँ. यू एज अ प्रोफेशनल, मैं भी वही मान रहा था कि कोई चीज, कोई क्लाइंट, कोई मुझे पूछे और मैं उसको बताऊं मैं आज शाम तक तेरे को जवाब, तो आई वाज कंसीडरिंग माय सेल्फ एज एफिशिएंट पर्सन. आज पूछा आज मैं जवाब दे देता हूं, आई एम एफिशिएंट और नॉट. यू ऑल थिंक सो, आई आल्सो थॉट सो. मुझे लगा कि मैं आज का उसका क्वेरी आज का आज जवाब दे, तो मैं बड़े गर्व से उसको बोल रहा था, डोंट वरी, आई विल रिप्लाई यू टुडे. उससे मैं मुझे लगा कुछ गलत हो गया, क्योंकि क्या वो मोमेंट पे मेरे को समझ नहीं. तो मैं सोचा उसको मेरी इंग्लिश या समझ में नहीं आ रहा, वो कम्युनिकेशन में कुछ गया. तो आई रिपीट, विलियम, टुडे आई विल रिप्लाई टुडे. राइट फॉर अ मोमेंट एंड ही शाउटेड लिटरली. ધીમે કહેવાની વાત માં જ્યારે રાડ પડે ત્યારે સંબંધમાં તીરા. એક્ઝેક્ટલી. So today, so Mr. Shah, which world you are? मुझे लगा कहाँ कुछ गड़बड़ हो गई, जो मेरी दिमाग समझ के बाहर. Said that in Germany, AM faxes are to be replied in AM and PM faxes are to be. This is what learning. Your ability, your skill will be measured at a global scale. If you can do it extraordinary, put your hard work, sharpen your knowledge, organize yourself, world is full of opportunities. मैं 40 साल से उसमें दिन रात देख रहा हूँ. बॉम्बे के अंदर ज्यादातर तो लोगों का ऑफिस है 10 to 7, मेरा 7 to 10. मेरी फर्स्ट अपॉइंटमेंट मेरे ऑफिस 705. 5 मिनट से पहले कभी एक लिफ्ट बंद है तो 3 मिनट ज्यादा है. मेरी आप सबसे रिक्वेस्ट है, कंसीडर दिस एज एन अपॉर्चुनिटी. एक्सपोर्ट इंपोर्ट बहुत अच्छा सब्जेक्ट है, ग्लोबल एक्सपोजर. एक और एग्जांपल कर दूं आपको. जापान गया, इतो ट्रेडिंग करके मेरा एक बायर था. वो टाइम में बिल्कुल नया था, मेरी स्टार्टिंग की जो ओवरसीज विजिट रही. दिस इज माय 14th पासपोर्ट. आई हैव ट्रैवल्ड सो मच. जापान तो ट्रेडिंग कंपनी के लिए मैं गया था. उनको कुछ हैंडीक्राफ्ट आइटम वगैरह चाहिए थे, मैंने दे दिए. अभी मेरे पास में टाइम था तो क्या करूं, जैसे कोई भी इंडियन एक्सपोर्टर एग्जीक्यूटिव जाएगा तो क्या करेगा, दूसरे 50 लोगों से जाएगा, कुछ और ऑर्डर आएगा तो कंपनी के लिए लेगा. तो वैसे मैंने भी किया. वहां की चैम्बर ऑफ कॉमर्स में जाकर कुछ एड्रेसेस लिए, वहां गए, एक कंपनी थी वहां पर, उसके पास में चैम्बर वालों ने रेकमेंड किया कि इसके पास में चाहिए, उनको रिक्वायरमेंट से मैं चला गया वहां पर. उसने मुझे बोला, सब मुझे पीकॉक फेदर है, मोर पिच मैंने जिंदगी में कभी किए नहीं। लेकिन टिपिकली जो इंडियन एक्सपोर्टर्स है एग्जीक्यूटिव, मैंने भी हाँ बोल दी, हाँ कर गई, उसने ऑर्डर दे दिया। मैंने एडवांस पेमेंट की बात की क्योंकि मैं डर था, मैंने क्या नहीं हो सकेगा नहीं हो सकेगा, तो मैंने प्राइस भी ज्यादा लगा, मेरे को प्राइस का कुछ पता नहीं, मैं बोला 68 प्राइस लगा दिया, एडवांस पेमेंट मांगा, उसे सब कुछ ओके कर दिया। वो डायर नीड में मैं इंडिया आ गया। विदेश से आने के बाद आपके पास बहुत इंक्वायरीज ऑर्डर्स काम रहते हैं, तो ये पीकॉक फेदर वाला काम जो है वो मैंने टालते गए, उसको बार बार बोल रही है। मैं उसको बोल रहा, मैं वो लीना करके मेरी सेक्रेटरी में उसको बोला तू ही जवाब देना, मेरे तक आना नहीं चाहिए, यहाँ तक बोल दो। कभी कभी मुझे पागलपन तो ऐसा हो गया कि एक दफा हमारा आदमी फॉरेस्ट में गया है तो वहां तक हमने बोल दिया, बोलना नहीं कहे बोल दिया, उसका बार बार बोलना करना। फिर एक दिन मैंने डिसाइड किया कल इसके ऊपर मैं फर्स्ट थिंग इन द मॉर्निंग में ऑफिस में जाके ये मैटर पर एंड लाऊंगा। और एक पॉलिसी के अंदर गाइडलाइन होती है, व्हाट आर अलाउड व्हाट आर नॉट अलाउड, वो मैंने देखना पढ़ना शुरू किया। पहला सेंटेंस पीकॉक फेदर्स आर नॉट अलाउड। ये पहला ही दरवाजा बंद हो गया। मैं डीजीएफटी चला, वहां जाके मैंने जो ऑफिसर था उनसे मैंने पूछा कि सर ये हमें एक्सपोर्ट करना रिस्ट्रिक्टेड एक्ट, तो बोला कि इट रिक्वायर्स अ लाइसेंस, एक्सपोर्ट लाइसेंस चाहिए। तो मैंने बोला कि ठीक है, मुझे तो नहीं मिल सकता था, तो मैंने बोला कि क्या करते, तो मैंने बोला एक काम करो, आप मुझे बताइए कि किन किन लोगों को आपने ये लाइसेंस दिया। तो बोला उसमें से किसी को जाके बोल रही और तू एक्सपोर्ट कर, मेरे को मेरा कमीशन दे दे, मेरे को जान। तभी पता चला कि ये एक्सपोर्ट ऑफ फेदर्स, पीकॉक फेदर्स आर अलाउड ओनली द स्टेट गवर्नमेंट। स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के जो हैंडीक्राफ्ट बोर्ड है उनको ही खरीदना। वर्ल्ड ट्रेड सेंटर में मेरे ख्याल से एक स्टेट गवर्नमेंट की उनकी ऑफिस वहां पर, तो ये मुझे इंफॉर्मेशन मिला कि उनको कुछ पीकॉक फेदर का लाइसेंस मिला। तो इमीडिएट उनको फोन करके गया, मुझे लगा कि मैं जाकर उनको ऑर्डर दे रहा हूँ तो वो मेरे को गरम गरम कॉफी पिलाए। तो उसको बोला कि सर आई वेंट टू जापान एंड ये मेरे पास में ऑर्डर है। ट्रस्ट मी, उन्होंने ऑर्डर देखा तक नहीं, बैठने को भी नहीं बोला। और मुझे एक ही सेंटेंस बोला, मिस्टर शाह ऐसे बहुत ऑर्डर मार्केट में मिलते हैं, किसी के पास लाइसेंस ही नहीं है, लाइसेंस जो है वो नहीं हो सकता। ठीक है, कैन आई ड्रॉप यू समवेयर? वो कार से जा रहा था, मुझे बांद्रा छोड़ दो। तब हम उनकी कार में वापस आते थे और फिर तो दुनिया भर की बातें हुई। बांद्रा स्टेशन पर उसने मुझे छोड़ा, मैं गाड़ी से नीचे उतरा तो दरवाजा बंद करते करते वो ऑफिस राजन, मुझे आज भी नाम याद, राजन से मिस्टर शाह फॉरगेट अबाउट, ये दो वर्ड्स में मुझे ठीक लगा। उसने बोला फॉरगेट अबाउट, यू कांट डू इट। मैंने बोला मैं करूंगा, और लीगली मैं करूंगा। फिर मैंने सोचना शुरू किया कि कैसे करूं उसको, इलीगल करना ही था, लीगली करना था। आई स्टार्टेड वर्किंग। हमारे पास में पालघर वहां में, तो वहां पर प्लास्टर ऑफ पेरिस के स्टैचू बनते हैं, वैसे स्टैचू बनाए हुए। तो एक ऐसी कंपनी के पास गया, मैं बोला आप मुझे प्लास्टर ऑफ पेरिस से स्टैचू बना सकते हैं? मैंने ड्राइंग करके दी उसको, फेस इतना, बॉडी इतना, और पीछे जहाँ पे पीकॉक रहते हैं ना वो बहुत बड़ा होलो पोर्शन, और इसके अंदर पीकॉक ऐसा डाल एंड एक्सपोर्टेड, वांटेड टू एक्सपोर्ट एज अ हैंडीक्राफ्ट पीकॉक। कस्टमर में गया, जो ऑफिसर था, सीनियर था, उसने ऑब्जेक्शन पार्टी को पीएच के लिए मैं गया, तो उसने बोला क्या आइटम कर, बोला हैंडीक्राफ्ट। मैं डायग्राम लेके गया जो मैंने ही बना, तो उसके ऊपर मैंने कुछ जापानीज में लिख लिया था, तो जापानीज कैनॉट मेक। और मैंने उनको बताया देखो सर ये मुझे ऑर्डर है, ये ऑर्डर का डिजाइन है, वो हिसाब से मैं बना के भेज रहा हूँ। आदमी था, उसने मेरी और देखी, एक पीकॉक में इतने फेदर्स नहीं होते, क्योंकि मैंने खास के जितना हो सके बोला इतने फेदर्स नहीं होते। आई पोलाइटली एग्री, सर मैंने कभी पीकॉक देखा नहीं, मुझे आइडिया नहीं, आपको ज्यादा लगे तो हम कम कर देते। तो उन्होंने फिर उनको बुलाया, बोलो कितना है, बिना बोला 80 to 82 नहीं, मतलब सर जो भी ना आप अलाउ कर दीजिए। तो मैं शिपिंग विद द स्पीकिंग ऑर्डर थी, नॉट मोर देन 50। मुझे क्या करना है, 30 और बनाना था, और मेरा अलग हो गया, एक्सपोर्ट हो गया। जापान वाले को मुझे उसको मैंने बोल के रखा था, जो आएगा ना खाली पीकॉक लेके पानी में करके कर लेना, वो बाकी का कचरा फेंक मिल गया। अभी प्रॉब्लम्स वो टाइम पे जापान के अंदर एक पीकॉक फेदर बहुत चलता, उसकी बहुत बड़ी मार्केट थी, और इंडिया से कोई एक्सपोर्ट नहीं कर रहा था। तो जो मेरा इंपोर्टर था, उसका कॉम्पिटिटर, उसका जो सप्लायर था ना, उसको बोला अरे तू ना बोलता इंडिया से कोई अभी नहीं कर सकता, किसी ने किया। तो जापान के अंदर एक रूल है, कस्टम की कोई भी इंफॉर्मेशन आप लीगली पैसा देके आप ले सकते हो। दैट वाज द रूल इन दोस डेज। अभी अपना राइट ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन तो यहाँ आ गया, तो मैं उस टाइम की बात कर, वो बंदा ने इंडियन सप्लायर को लिखा जो मना कर रहा था कि मैं पीकॉक फेदर नहीं भेज सकता। दूसरे दिन टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया में ऑब्वियसली इंक्वायरी चली, कुछ नहीं हुआ, क्लीन चिट आ गया। उसके बाद ये हुआ था मेरे पास 28 फरवरी, ये याद है, पर 27 फरवरी, 1 अप्रैल को वो टाइम पे पॉलिसी नहीं आई। मैंने नेक्स्ट टाइम पॉलिसी में देखा तो उसमें वर्ड था आइटम रिस्ट्रिक्टेड नॉट अलाउड फॉर एक्सपोर्ट इज, अर्लियर था पीकॉक फेदर, बाद में हुआ पीकॉक फेदर एंड आर्टिकल्स मेड देयर। आज की डेट में भी आप देखेंगे तो यही वर्डिंग, मेरी आपसे एक ही है, आप लोग नसीबदार है, बाकी तो बहुत लोगों को तो अप्सरा खाली पेंसिल में ही मिलती है। एक्सपोर्ट इज एक्साइटिंग, बहुत टाइम लोगों को लोग पूछेंगे कि एक्सपोर्ट इज डिफरेंट, ऐसे नो, एक्सपोर्ट इज नॉट डिफिकल्ट बट इट्स आई विश ऑल ऑफ यू ग्रेट सक्सेस इन प्रैक्टिसिंग एक्सपोर्ट एंड इंपोर्ट। सिर्फ एक ही बात कहूंगा आपके लिए, ठाई होगी अगर ठोकर हमने किसी पत्थरों से, ठाई होगी अगर ठोकर हमने किसी पत्थरों से, मंजिल का निशा भी हम पाएंगे उसी पत्थरों से। थैंक यू।
Thank you very much, sir, for enlightening the members about export opportunities. Now we have for today's last session, but last fourth session, that is do's and don'ts of cyber security from CA Binang Tejani. So I request Treasurer Ashwin Bhawala to escort CA Binang Tejani on the dais. And to felicitate him, I request Chimpu Lapsiwala, Magic Committee member, and Ashwin Bhawala to felicitate him. I request Shyam Agarwal to give brief introduction of today's speaker, CA Binang Tejani.
Thank you, Roshan bhai. CA Binang Tejani has also cleared his CISA, DISA and CA. He has 8 years of cyber security consulting experience for different industry sectors like banking and finance, health, dairy, manufacturing, etc. He has helped many companies advanced in cyber security value chain by running virtual CSGO as a service. Working for many in India's cyberspace,
more safe and secure, having reported critical bugs to income tax department, GST department, department foreign trades, etc. With this brief introduction, I introduce CA Behan Tejani. Please, sir.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. So the topic, as the topic says, beware, be safe. Cyber attacks has been very common nowadays. So maybe here and there you would be hearing that my friend's Instagram account is hacked, or let's say your corporate customers account takeover has just happened, or let's say some of your clients may have faced a ransomware attack. So cyber attacks are getting very common nowadays. So I'm not here to answer the question that how after becoming CA I'm into the cybersecurity field, but I just want you to make aware of these cyber frauds. And if you are aware, maybe you can help your clients in these kind of awarenesses. In fact, one of my friend who is working as a credit manager in a leading bank shared me an incident that he saw in his client's balance sheet that 2 crore rupees was written off for cyber fraud. So out of curiosity, I asked him that why he has written off those 2 crore rupees and what next steps he has taken once the fraud has happened. He said that he contacted the bank, but bank said nothing can happen now. The money is gone and cannot be recovered because you are in India. So what next? So I said it's okay, that is fine. He has written off, that is one thing, but what steps he has taken so that similar incidents does not happen in future. So he said that you will be surprised to know that his client told me that see, it was simply a bank fraud. There was nothing that happened wrong on our side, so we have not done anything. I said, but there would be something that you have done. He said, yes, we have stopped net banking. So similar things don't happen in future. So okay, so you have two possibilities: either to adapt the technology, adapt the safeguards that is required, or maybe don't adapt the technology. Don't use smartphones. If you use smartphones, then you will click on the wrong links. If you use those old Nokia devices 1100, where the only game you can play is that snake one, then you don't have any risk. So you have a choice to either remain aware of the situations, remain aware of the attacks that is happening, or maybe go back to the older times. So the first thing that comes to everyone's mind is this relevant to me? So yes, it is relevant because cyberspace is very huge and attacks does not happen like one-on-one. Like you might think that why someone would target me. There are crores of, or I would say millions of people around the world. Why would someone target you itself specifically? So just for your information, there are so many number of devices connected online, but all the devices are continuously scanned for attack vectors. So just to give you an example, whenever any new system is made live, whenever our client set up a new system, like let's say they set up a new server and made it online for the first time, in a few minutes itself, we see that there are a lot of cyber attacks happening. Within a few minutes of server going on the internet for the first time, attacks from around the world starts happening. So they use automated tools. So whoever is vulnerable would be facing this kind of attack. So there is no ifs and buts, like hacker does not know that your account has this much balance, or your laptop does not have any credit card information. Uh, they target each and everyone. The second myth could be, it's my personal computer, I don't have any valuable information on it. It's okay, you don't have any valuable information, but let's say I use your computer for crypto mining. This happened to Andhra government very recently, where all those servers were hacked. They don't find any valuable information. So what they did is they use the processing power to do some illegal activity, basically mining of cryptocurrency, which is very common nowadays. I'll not go into the details of what crypto is, but the thing is, crypto mining, which is illegal, can be performed on your computers. So you may not be aware also like what is happening in the background, and you are participating in those illicit activities. So basically, if the Wi-Fi has been taken in your name, it is your responsibility to safeguard it. If something goes wrong, even you can be a victim without any benefits from those. So basically, you are mining crypto for someone else. They are getting financial gains. You may get some other gains, like maybe some legal consequences and everything. Other possibility could be, I'll worry when someone attacks me or something happens to me. See, you have only one Aadhaar card. It's one-time identity which is issued once in a life. So if something happens to you and then you realize that no, I should have protected my Aadhaar card, then it's too late. Because you cannot go to government that this Aadhaar card is compromised. Can you please issue me a new one? Okay, there is no option like issuing a new one. So you might have seen that identity frauds or SIM card frauds are very common. Because see, whenever we talk about cyber fraud, everyone would say that see, all my funds are very much secured because I receive an OTP only to perform a transaction. So until I don't share the OTP, see, I'm very much literated. I will not share the OTP. I have a highest level of cyber education possible. So someone would simply use your Aadhaar card, get a new SIM card. Getting a SIM card is very easy nowadays. In fact, you might have seen in those serials, I would say, like those money mafia and everything. You would say saw that there are few jurisdictions where getting SIM card is a matter of minutes. So only what they do is, in fact, they have also shown that not only the real Aadhaar cards that they have stolen, but they also Google that PAN card. So there are few people whose PAN card is available on Google also. So they will use that PAN card, format that, and get a SIM card issued. So getting SIM card issues is a matter of seconds. So even with a one-time password on your phone, you cannot say that your account is safe. So these are few of the cases. Like see, as you can see, the SIM card swap is in rise in Tamil Nadu, where police unearths modus operandi. So the modus operandi are very similar in almost all the cases. They look out for the leaked documents. The leaked sources could be, there are different sources from which the documents can be leaked. Later on, we will be discussing those parts. By now, you might be thinking that it's like a horror movie going on, but we will very soon discuss on the mitigation steps. So, in fact, even my meetings with my client, they also used to say that Pushpa was a thriller movie, but you show us the horror movie. But that's not the fact. Until you don't show them real risk, nobody will understand or nobody will take this serious. So recently this AP Mahesh bank was hacked and 12 crore was transferred. So see, it's the point here is not only individuals are facing cyber risk, but even financial institutions like banks are also facing the cyber risk. In fact, you would have heard that Cosmos Bank faced a cyber attack where they lost 96 crore rupees. Out of that 96 crore, 71 crore is already siphoned off and is not recoverable at all. Some remaining funds is frozen but not yet has been reverted back to bank. In one of the case, as you can see, 64 lakh online scam has happened, and you might have seen in the news also regarding the India Bulls that India Bulls have faced a ransomware attack. Although they officially denied the statement that there is nothing like ransomware attack that has happened to India Bulls. But even on this stage, I can say that this has happened because this photo I've taken it straight from the ransomware attack group on the dark web, where they officially posted all the PII data of the customers, including their sanction letters and everything. So it's common everywhere. There is nothing new, or in fact, I'm not here disclosing any confidential information, but it is something that is available on dark web as of today also. So corporate account takeover are one of the cyber attacks that is very common, and the reasons for corporate account takeovers are very common. You're using simple passwords like admin123, your mobile numbers is used as a password, your son's name is used as a password, 4-digit PIN is your car's 4-digit number. So those are easily guessable things, and those guessable things can be guessed easily, and later on they use that for illegal purposes. So not only bank account, but in fact you would have seen that someone is saying that my Instagram account was hacked or my Facebook was hacked. So those cases are also very common. See, it's not Facebook that is hacked, it's your password that is hacked because you have kept a very simple password. Okay, so there are list of common passwords, like people used to give their password as Jai Mata Di. It is one of the most common passwords of 2021. Okay, so then you cannot say that your Facebook is hacked. It's your password that is hacked. So here there are challenges for CAs because CAs works for a different positions. Like they work as a chief accounting officers, they work as a CFOs, they work as a treasurers, and they invite this type of attacks. And how they invite this type of attacks? By creating a beautiful LinkedIn profile where they mention that yes, I work as a CFO for this $1 billion company. So now the attacker knows that okay, this is the bakra. I have to target this one to get those $1 million siphoned off. Okay, and how to get the KYC? I mean, it's very common. I mean, you just keep on sending the fake phishing emails to him. One day he will click on that email. Maybe he recently posted a photo that I'm visiting Malaysia with my family. Similarly, just drop an email that you have an offer for this beautiful hotel, or let's say a candlelight dinner for Malaysia. You can go here, just click on the link and claim your voucher. Okay, so you just need to penetrate that guy to click on that URL, or maybe ask him to download something. And once he downloads something, once he clicks on the required URL, work is done. That laptop is controlled by the hacker, and they can do whatever they want. Okay, so it's all about what you post on social media. So let's say someone shares a location that I'm here for this purpose. So they will collect all the informations and make a kind of a targeted attacks, I would say. They will target you in a way that you will be forced to believe this is true. Like let's say if you are on these regularly attending these CPEs, one fine day you got an email that you have a bonanza offer, you will attend for 2 hours and you will get 4 hours of CPE. Many of the CS would click on this. Okay, yeah, let's see this, how this bonanza offer is. So maybe one click is enough for them. Okay, so your acts decides your safety. So don't click on unwanted links. Don't download anything that is not relevant to you. So see, they require something from your side to enter into your systems. So they would require you to do an act. Based on your act, they will enter into the system. You will not believe that even though 100 crore frauds that we are discussing has happened with an email only. Email is the culprit for 95% of the cyber frauds. For a bank, they will send an email that this is from an RBI. You are required to comply with this guideline. So let's say he is a loan officer. He has posted on his Facebook that I work as a loan officer at this bank. So we will only get an email that is targeted towards loans only. That this is a new loan circular. This is a new. This is something new guidelines that is related to loan. One fine day, that fellow will click on the link, or one fine day he will download that attachment. So once he downloads, rest is done. So you might be wondering that there will be antivirus softwares. See, if antivirus softwares can do everything, then there is nothing called cyber attacks, because all the corporates would have antivirus softwares installed. So if antivirus softwares can do everything, then there is nothing for cyber attackers, or there is nothing for us, or there is nothing, there is no jobs like chief information security officers kind of thing. Okay, so it's not it is nothing, not everything that antivirus can do. So I would say 99% it's a technology role, but remaining 1%, it's your act that will decide cyber security of yourself as well as maybe nearby your surroundings. By taking your surroundings in between, like let's say you clicked on a link, you clicked on a wrong link, that malware got delivered in your laptop, you are using your laptop to file GST returns for 100 others. Okay, so now that 100 others are also infected. The harm can be direct harm, or it can be indirect harm in form of, let's say you receive a KYC from your client, he stole .kyc and misuses those KYC. So there could be n number of possibilities. So identity theft, we have already discussed that secure your PII data because it can result in SIM card swap frauds, which is very common. Other frauds are not very common in our case, especially like taxation frauds, and also we will not discuss that. Other case would be a straightforward data theft. So one of the case I will say mentioned here was a United States incident. It was a government organization who does a background check, and they are infected in 21.5 million people's records. Each and every detail, including their social identity numbers and everything, was stolen. So similar incidents are happening in India even as of today. The only difference between here and these countries are they have GDPR laws, we don't have any laws. Okay, the privacy laws for India are yet a bill which may pass in future and get converted into a law. So until there is a formal law, you will not know such incidents happening. In fact, when you buy a new car, you become a victim of this identity theft, because the very next day you get a call that you bought this car, you can come to our shop and get these accessories. At the year end, every insurance company of Surat will call you that your insurance is about to expire. So out of curiosity, I asked one of the person that which color car I have. He mentioned very rightly. I asked him how you get these details. He said the car employers employs 5,000-6,000 rupees employees for calling these. So they sell that data for, let's say, 5 rupees for one data. Okay, so your data is sold for 5 rupees. Okay, and the reason that is sold is because there is no privacy laws in India. Maybe once the privacy laws are out, you can do something, but for now there is nothing you can do. So those are out of control, but at least you can control wherever possible, like using emails in a secure way, or one of the prominent things that is going on is these ransomware attacks. This is very common nowadays. In fact, 3 or 4 days ago, you might have read about this oil corporation based in Assam. They faced a ransomware attack, and the amount asked by the hackers was approximately 57 crore rupees. Okay, so that was one of the incident. But in fact, many of you would be trading in the shares. So you might be aware that there was something wrong with the steel prices around 2-3 months back. So that something wrong was again Tata powers those Tata Steel facing a ransomware attack in 13 of their plants at the same time. For 2 days, their 100% production was shut down because of a ransomware attack. So ransomware attack can happen to anyone. It could be a small SMB client, or it could be those giants also. So this is happening each and everywhere. So even in case of India Bulls also, it was a ransomware attack. There was nothing new. So ransomware basically means asking for a ransom uh, for decrypting your data. Basically, what they do is earlier ransomware attackers used to lock your data. To unlock that, you have to pay for a ransom. Later on, they realized that many of those clients are not paying. They have backups. They format the system, restores the backup, and everything is fine. So what now they do is, first they will steal your data. So let's say for a CA firm, what could be the possibility? They will stole all the clients' data, all the customers' KYC and everything. Then they will do a ransomware attack. Then they will drop a simple note, pay this much rupees in Bitcoin. Otherwise, I'll leak your data for free. Okay, so you have two options. Let them leak the data, or maybe apply appropriate security controls. I would not say pay for that, because the amount they ask are too large. In fact, if you see the latest ransomware attacks which are paid, then there was a company who paid $6 million for a ransom, as a ransom, to get their data recovered. And see, these ransomware attacks are so common that one of the company based in Ankleshwar, they are into manufacturing sector, faced a ransomware attack, and to my surprise, they have nothing called backup. In fact, all their critical designs, all their I mean, each and everything. I mean, the 15 years career of the company was encrypted in one go. So they don't have any option except paying the ransom. So they hired us. We started negotiations. The negotiation started from 1 crore. Initially, we agreed that for a price of 21 lakhs, they will decrypt these 9 servers. So once we paid those 21 lakhs, the ransomware attacker decrypted only 3 servers. He said for 6 servers you have to pay more, because he know that we have a curiosity and we are showing interest in this. So after that, we again agreed for an amount of 6 lakhs. We again paid that. Now he said my boss is not agreeing to decrypt it. So we again backed it, because we think that because we don't have any option actually. So this bargaining continued. After paying a total of 40 lakhs, only 5 servers were decrypted, and then we lost hope that it's okay, remaining will not be decrypted. Okay, so once something goes wrong, and then you look out for a cyber security, or you will go for a cyber security controls, then it would be too late. So it's better you make awareness among yourself, or maybe your clients also, that this is the right time, this is the need of the hour. You have to apply basic cyber security controls itself. You will not believe 99% of the attacks can be prevented by using basic cyber security controls. Okay. At this platform, I should not say these things, but you give me any of the emails of your companies, or maybe one of the institute, which I'll help them secure now. But I can send and from your email, an email to anyone. So basically, it's an impersonation. I don't need your password right now, because you are using those free email services. Or even if you are not using free email services, you have subscribed to your company's email service, like let's say, for example, @ICAI.org, kind of a thing. You have your business domain. If the basic controls are not applied, anyone can send email from that email address. Okay, so I'll share that basic control at the end of this lecture. So enough of the threatenings. Now, what can be done? Okay, so the first thing that you can do is think before you click on any emails. Okay, don't because 92% of the cases can be avoided only with your knowledge. You don't need a sophisticated technology. You don't need any sophisticated tools. Only you need an awareness. So basically, you need to kill your curiosity. If someone sends you an email, you may have a curiosity like, "देखो तो सही क्या है?" Okay, so that curiosity can harm you a lot. So basically it's a think before you click kind of a thing. But let's say if you downloaded something, this can be very common for a chartered accountants that most of the files you receive are macro enabled files. So macros are most dangerous things. Macros can do wonders for hacker. I can send you a simple Excel file. Once you click on that Excel file, your PC is controlled by me. I mean, if you don't believe me, I'll just ask to ping me tomorrow. I'll just send you an email with a simple Excel file. Maybe you can open an Excel file and I'll give your Windows password to you that you kept this password. So the point is, before you click enable content, think twice. Until you don't trust the sender, don't click on enable content. Okay, the second thing would be hover is your friend, because जो दिखता है वो हमेशा नहीं होता वाली बात है. You may see something, but it may be redirecting to something else. Like, see, you are seeing an email from Amazon. Let's say you ignore that actually that email is not coming from Amazon. If you have seen the email address, the domain is XML kind of something, but that's okay. You ignore that email is not coming from Amazon. You are worried that your account should not be logged. Okay. So in that worry, what you did is you immediately clicked on the update button. And once you click on the update button, you will see that it is redirecting you to some random shitty URL. Okay. So basically, before you click on any URL, you have to hover over it and see where actually it is getting redirected, whether you are going to Amazon or to something else. In fact, before coming into this field, I used to work a lot in this blockchain and cryptocurrency. I used to be one of the largest trader of cryptocurrency. So even I used to post this everything like on a random social media groups and everything that this chart is going this and this chart is going where and XYZ kind of a thing. So someone came to know that I have an account with a Bittrex exchange, which was popular during those days in 2014, I would say. So someone sent me an email that your Bittrex account would be logged in 24 hours. Immediately do your KYC. So I clicked on the email that it should not be logged. It has a lot of fund. So I immediately clicked on the email. It asked me to verify my Gmail account. So I entered my email ID. It asked for a password. I entered the password also. Then my Gmail account was protected by two-factor authentication. So it asked me for a two-factor authentication. So I entered two-factor authentication for 5 times. There was around like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And after these steps, I realized this could be a phishing mail. I immediately changed my password, logged into Bittrex, and 65 lakhs was lost. Okay, that's my beginning into cyber security. Then I decided that this is the field and this is the need of the hour. I think I should help people secure their funds. Mine is gone, but that is fine. I'll secure rest of the world. Okay. So you should, this email should not cost you in lakhs or crores. It's better to be safe. And if you don't trust this email, I said kill your curiosity. Don't open it. Okay, now hacker also know that you will not click until you hover over it. So they will send you a shortened URL. So shortened URL from Bitly or tiny URL basically generally sent over in SMS to you, like you are expecting a courier from FedEx. And to track your courier, click on the link. Although you are not expecting a courier from FedEx, but out of curiosity, you will still go and track that courier. Although you know that this is not a courier, this has nothing to do with me, but still something is coming, so let's track. That's the mentality. So before you click on any shortened URL, use the tools like link expander, expand the URL, verify if it is genuine, then only click. So basically kill the curiosity, don't click on the link, that is fine. If you want to click it, but only after you verify. Otherwise it would be too late. The second thing would be patching all your devices. Like let's say whenever you receive any updates on your Android phone, also you will see that they've written like something called bug fixes. So every patch that is released does not only update security features, but there are bugs that are fixed. So let's say if you are using a Windows system which is not patched to, like, let's say for last 6 months or 8 months, and it is connected to internet. There is a website called shutdown.io, जिसको आप महीने का 20,000 रुपए दो, वो वर्ल्ड का anywhere in the world, it is a Google search, it will give you कि भाई इतना systems outdated है, you can target any one of them. Okay, so basically worldwide victims can be found out using this site. So hackers use these kind of tools, and if you don't update your systems, you can be a victim of this one. There is no exception to it. So patch each and every device. Patching not only applies to your PCs and mobiles, but it also applies to Google's Alexa that you are using home, or any kind of the smart PCs or smart devices that you use at home. So patching applies to each and everything. Firmware needs to be updated. If you don't update, then there is a race. So by far we have seen that we are only discussing free possibilities that you can take care. Like, see, selecting a URL, where to click, where not to click, downloading or not downloading. So basically, I'm not here to give you an expensive proposition that you have to spend a lakh of rupees to remain cyber safe. See, these are free kind of things, or I would say basic things that can protect you from 99% of the attacks. Everyone knows that not sharing OTP would be a secure means, so we are not discussing all those things. But yes, again, patching is does not involve any cost, and you should patch all the devices. You should update all your devices whenever there are any updates. Okay, this should not happen to you. That someone has figured out my dog name, and the only option I have is now to change the dog name. So basically, don't keep a password which is very much guessable. Okay, instead of dog here, there could be girlfriend's name. Okay, there could be as I said, car का 4-digit pin. ठीक है कि जो कार का 4-digit है वही अपना pin है. That should not happen to you. For sensitive accounts, you can use password managers which are available online, and if not password managers, at least try to keep different passwords, because there is also a possibility that if one password is leaked, your other accounts can get affected. If someone is curious, how do I check if my passwords are leaked or not? So you can download an application in the Play Store which is Safe Me, SAFE Safe Me, and you can check all your passwords. Those are available in dark web, along with the sources from where those passwords are leaked. If someone is worried that I don't want to create an account on Safe Me, maybe that is not trusted. So there are online services also which you can use to check whether your account is, at what all places your account is compromised. 90% of the participants here have one compromise I know, and that is Zomato. Zomato got compromised last year. So everyone who is having an account with Zomato, your ID and password are compromised, at least for Zomato. And now what will happen? You have used same password for Zomato and for all other accounts. So all those accounts where you have used same password as Zomato is also compromised. Okay, that's a basic thumb rule. So keeping different passwords and not keeping one of these common passwords could be a safe practice. So as I said, see, some people keep password as password itself. बोले याद रखने में easy रहेगा. So someone could keep 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Okay, so these are the most common passwords of 2021. So make sure that your password is not in the list. So keeping Big Basket as the password. In fact, Big Basket was also compromised. So I'll not share much names, but once you go on that website, in fact, Chrome is open. Let me visit that website. Okay, you can visit this website. You can just write your email address here, and they will tell you where all your credentials are linked from what all sources. So let's try my public email. Okay, so it was leaked in Appian, that is fine. Then it was leaked in Big Basket in October 2020. Then it was leaked in Canva, Check. Then these are some malwares. We don't need to go into detail. Then it's Ovi. Then Domino's very recently. Then we have Ixigo, then LinkedIn, Nitro, Zomato. So you cannot say that your ID passwords are 100% safe. So, see, many of these, like let's say if you take an example of Zomato, then what all details are compromised? Email address, passwords, and usernames. So if you keep same password for Zomato as well as for your income tax website, or maybe let's say for your email itself, then there are cases where along with mobile OTP on mobile, OTP was also coming on email also. Okay, so you receive an OTP on the mobile. किसी के साथ share ही नहीं करूँगा. Let's see how someone transfers fund. But by that time you will check the OTP from email and do transfer of fund. Then you will go to bank and fight for your rights that it's not my fault. It's something that that is wrong on the bank side. But that's not the true in most of the cases. In fact, for corporates, we have seen many, a huge rise in the SIM card swapping frauds. In fact, after those SIM card swapping frauds happens, they come to us, they do a forensic, try to create a report in a way that it looks like a bank's fault. ठीक है, आपको डबल पैसा दे देंगे, आप ऐसा करोगे तो ठीक है, but even bank have a team of professionals, even they get that thing security is validated कि किसका गलती है. So try to use two-factor authentications wherever possible. Again, Google authenticators can be integrated with most of the places, for all social medias, for all your email accounts, and many places have an option to integrate this Google authentication. So this is safe even from the SIM card swapping kind of a things. So see, you cannot prevent SIM card swap. So how can you avoid those banking frauds from happening to you? There are options for big banks like ICAI, SBI, HDFC. They have an option for these Google Authenticator kind of an application where they don't send an OTP onto the SMS or email, but they will generate an OTP into the application of the bank. So you can download that application and use that as an alternative. Okay, basic things but needs you must know. Even if you type Aadhaar Udyog today, you will see that first, second, and third website, which is fake, phishing, incorrect, whatever you name it, but fourth website is the right one. As a practice, what we do is, जो सबसे पहला आया वो सही. ठीक है? So we will go to that first website. After 5 minutes of registering on that site, you will got a call. कि भाई 8,500 रुपए भरो to get your Aadhaar Udyog. You will pay that 8,500 and ठीक है, that's it's done. Okay, this is a real incident that has happened very recently, and it has happened to many of the people because the habit is to go for the first website. Okay, so whenever you do Google search, look out for the right website. It's not necessarily on the first. It's not necessarily the first one. In this case, it is fourth one. Okay, so you are smart to know the right one, but the only thing is you need to change the habit. कि हमेशा first is always right. ठीक है, Google search का एक thumb rule है. That rule is wrong. Again, out of frustration, don't go on the wrong websites. Like let's say you have a complaint for Swiggy. You try to contact on the original Swiggy website, but no one is reachable. So what you did is you visited this Swiggy pissed off customer website, India customer care website, and called someone. They will ask you that I'm sending you a link. You click on that link, fill that form, send me back. आप उसके साथ गेम खेलोगे. Meanwhile, you will receive few UPI requests and some transactions are done and game is over. Okay, so try to visit right website. Try to go through official contact numbers only. In fact, banks also face these complaints lot of the time. Like when Kotak Bank का complaint था, instead of calling Kotak Bank from the debit card backside, they have a number. They will go to random website. Like Kotak Bank list of customer kind of a website, they will get a number. सीधा phone UP लगेगा. In the meanwhile, account is cleared. Okay, so don't get lured off by these kind of websites online. So there is only one Swiggy ka website, but if you search for Swiggy's contact, Google page will show 10 websites, and everyone would have a contact number. कभी टाइम पास करना है तो you contact them. हमारे एक एम्प्लॉय है, उन्होंने टाइम पास करने के लिए ट्राई किया था, but somehow they made him a victim और उससे भी 20,000 निकलवा लिया. ठीक है, so they are that smart. I mean, so we will go through 5 minutes of presentation. I would say a survey kind of a thing before we wrap up. If you don't have any questions, which I think you won't have because this is something out of the box. Now then it's good. Yeah. Okay, so everyone can go to this website menti.com and enter this code. So use your mobiles to visit this menti.com and enter this code. So see, this is a time pass question. This ensures that everyone has joined this, and after this we can start this survey. So you can just go. Everyone, please use your mobile. I'm not hacking your mobile. It's a genuine website menti.com. So open that website and enter this code. See, it's a small quiz. After these, there are 3 or 4 questions. You have to answer fast to get more points. There would be a scoreboard also to show who has answered first. So this slides only ensures that participants have joined. There is no other purpose, and we are not also tracking that what option you have selected. So if you met your wife at office, you can also select the third option. I don't mind. Only 4 people have joined so far. We can see the count at the bottom. So try to join fast. Code is 2153 3095. 2153 3095. Website is menti.com. Okay, so everyone has joined, so we can go ahead. Okay. So now you will be asked to enter your name. As I said, this will be a small quiz. So you can enter your names and we can start it. There will be only 3 questions. Yeah. And fastest answer will get more points. Okay, so okay, people are joining. Someone thought that it would be just office mood, so they voted from their neighbor. Okay. Okay, answer fast to get more points. So you have 30 seconds to answer. You can see the question on your mobile itself. Only 20 people has voted, although 30 has joined. See, even after a brief, I would say, lecture, many people has voted wrong. See, how can you see? You have learned permutations and combinations. Okay, so the password tapping happens on permutations and combination. So the more the letters, more the complexity, better the password it is. It's very simple. Okay, so okay, that is fine. I think. Okay, so this is the leaderboard so far. ये क्रिप्टो ज्वाइन किया विद 0 point. Okay, so 26 people, everyone has voted. So again, 8 people opens emails from business partners and they face his risk. So maybe overthinking the cyber security. Okay, so the idea was don't use pirated softwares because no one has become engineer to distribute you a free softwares. Okay, even they have spent a lot of education fees. So why would they distribute you a free meal over internet? Okay, this is not a part of the quiz. It's I mean just to get an idea of what's the thinking of the audience. Okay, so I believe 75% people understands it's a need of the hour. Still, there would be exceptions. Maybe they read it greater than lesser than wrong. Okay, so this is the last question. Something is wrong with laptop. I believe it's already 7. So the question was, make your social media dash only and invite only those you know. So many of you don't even need proper question. Okay, so there are people who want to make it colorful. Okay, so this was the final leaderboard. Okay, so we have Lokesh here or me? Okay, okay, yeah. So at least someone managed to score 2500 plus. That is good. In fact, even in a corporate trainings where we have more than 10,000 attendees, they don't have this much score. So I think someone has understood the cyber security well. Okay, thank you. So I believe some of you have any questions. Yeah. See, it depends on the source from when you are getting those advertisements. See, if you are getting in on those online stores, so you don't know how that online stores operate. In fact, I'll share one of the incident that in cryptocurrency there is a wallet called Cold Wallet, where a small pen drive is given to you. You can store your cryptocurrencies in that small pen drive. That small pen drive has a 16-digit keywords associated with it. So what hackers do, first they will open that pen drive, store those 16-digit keywords, again pack it like it is never opened, and then put it for a sale for 50% discount. And someone would buy for that 50% discount, put on their lifelong earnings into that pen drive, and the next moment it is gone. Okay, so it depends on the sources. So see, it's safe, but if it's too confidential document, then you should not trust those online websites. There are options where you can do those offline activities offline. Or in fact, from 2016 onwards, all you need to do is change the extension from PDF to DOCX. It will convert to the maximum possible. I mean, depending on the file format, it would convert to the best possible format. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Is there a chances of is there a chances that you are on online of banking network? Immediately you get the call and OTP or
Oh, sorry, you can repeat your question.
now I am on the website of banking.
Okay.
Internet. Immediately you get a spam call and should I receive that one or no?
See, receiving spam call nowhere harms you. But as I said, out of curiosity, you call to UP and you want to know that what questions they ask, and somehow they will manipulate you in a way that you will give the things. In fact, few of the bank employees also, they report a fraud to their IT department. In fact, they are the ones who are the frontliners, and they used to give education to their customers that don't share OTP, don't do these things, don't do that things. And even though they also fall a trap into this, so it's basically human nature. whoever is more superior, whoever is more smart, will convince others and get their things done. So receiving call, it's no harm. But after receiving call, what acts they ask you to do, and maybe you think that doing this act will no way harm my account. I just want to show it that I can do whatever you say, and it's a difference of belief. Maybe they will ask you to click on a link. You said clicking a link will not harm me, and maybe you click on that link, and you don't know what it can result, what it downloaded in the back end and everything. See, VPN is 100% safe. VPN are basically two things. First is people use VPN to hide their identity. See, first of all, when you search, like let's say simply you type on Google, Adidas shoes. Now everywhere you go on internet, you will only see Adidas shoes. If you go on Facebook, you will see Adidas shoes. If you go on Instagram, you will see Adidas shoes. If you go on Amazon itself, you will see those ads only. So to hide your identity, first people use VPN. Okay, because the identity can be hidden because you will not get those associated cookies with you. So, so the fresh website you visit will not know what was your previous visits and everything. And in fact, people use VPN also to search for a flight rates, because if you search for a flight rate from single IP, it will show a different rate next time. Okay, so people use VPN even to search for a flight rates. So the second VPN case could be like like you have one office here and other office at different place, and you are connecting those with a VPN. So again, that is more secured option. It's like traveling in a private road rather than a public road. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Sorry? 2 3. Okay. See, I am not aware of that application, but what you can do is if you have any doubts with any of the files, any of the applications, any of the website, you can upload that here and verify their reputation. Yes. Yes. See, Tor is different thing, VPN is different thing. Tor is basically a gateway to access the dark web. So the ideal way to connect the dark web is to first connect a VPN and then connect a dark web. So basically ISP only knows that I'm using a VPN, but what next, that ISP does not know. So we are going in an offensive way. I think we should. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Well, today's session was very much informative, starting from opportunities in non-traditional practice from Dr. Rajkumar Adukia, sir. Then Ganesh Shetty, sir, shared knowledge about labor consultancy. Moving ahead, there was session on with Ajit Shah, sir, on opportunities in import and export. Then there was an eye-opening session on cyber security. So all the sessions were very much eye-opening and very much worth sharing. On behalf of Surat branch, I thank all the speakers for taking out time from your busy schedule and sharing your worth knowledge with us. I also thank all the members present here for their patient listening. Thank you, everyone.